How do I make my practice stand apart if I'm in a saturated market? And so, not that it's easier necessarily to build in a not saturated market, it just looks different. We're going to talk about if you're in a saturated market, there's a lot of therapists. There's a lot of people maybe doing exactly what you're doing. Maybe you're a private pay therapist and a lot of people take insurance, or, maybe you're an insurance-based practice and a lot of people are private pay in your area, and that's really what a lot of people are used to. And so I think that, as always, you want to make sure that you are not a run-of-the-mill practice, that there is something about your practice that really stands out. And not only that it stands out, but that it really is in line with the market where you're at. It's one thing to have a niche. I think it's really important to have a niche. I don't discount the importance of having a niche, but it's one thing to have a niche, and then it's another thing to have a niche that models the area that you're in, and that there's the population for whatever your niche is. And so if you are, let's say your niche is millennials, let's just make it really general. What's the population distribution in the area that you're in? Take a look. I always do market research in any areas of either an area that I'm looking at, or if I'm doing coaching with somebody, I'm always doing market research. I'm looking at, the split of the ages, right? So if somebody tells me they work with kids and this is an area that, has a lot of older adults, there's not a lot of children, I may wonder, how that is going to work. I always look at, just different things in the area. What are the biggest employers? What are the needs of the area by, Googling and researching? You should be looking up other people in your area if you're in a saturated market. The one tip that I can give you is, when Google whatever your niche is, or whatever even if you just want to do like a general, counseling near me in your area, take a look at who comes up number 1, 2, and 3 on the Google map. Take a look at how many reviews they have, and then make that your goal to beat those amount of reviews. That is how we were able to, within a year, build up a very successful group practice in a new location. I did my research. I will say it's not a saturated area where I moved to, so I'll make that caveat. But even if it was, I would have used the same strategy, even if it was a saturated area. I then put up a Google My Business listing and then beat those reviews. And so now we're coming up number 1 on, the Google map, or 2 or 3, but we're on that first page. And that has been really, really helpful. And people nowadays say, I see your reviews, I see your reviews, I see your reviews. In a saturated market, you may have a little bit less word of mouth depending on the community. And so a lot of people may be looking on the internet. And so that's going to be a really great way for you to stand out. A lot of people say that Google AdWords don't work in saturated markets. Again, this is why you want to make sure you have a professional working with you with your Google AdWords to see if that is true. They will tell you the competition. They'll tell you how much each click is going to cost for you. They're going to tell you, are there a lot of other people doing, Google AdWords in your community, and that it's not really going to be effective for you. And so if you're in a saturated market and you're thinking about doing AdWords, I definitely would recommend that you have a professional working with you. And then I want you to take a look again, go back. What kind of calls are you getting in? What kind are the calls that you're getting in aligned with what you do in your practice? If not, do you need to pivot something that's authentic to you, but do you need to pivot into, something that is a little bit more reasonable for the area that you're in? I think it's really, really, really important to know the area that you're in. That's why I always say market research is so important. So I'm going to give you a couple more tips, but I want to first thank our sponsor, TherapyNotes. If you're looking for an electronic health record that's really full service, that can help you run your practice virtually, in person, a hybrid practice, whether you take insurance or you're a private pay practice, I want you to check out TherapyNotes. You can do all of your notes from there. You can send paperwork, you can take payments, you can bill insurance, and they have a wonderful customer service team. You can pick up the call, you can pick up your phone, give them a call, and they will help you with whatever it is that you need related to TherapyNotes. So I want you to check them out. So going back to being in a saturated market, you may have to step up your marketing. That it might be harder. It might be more work. It might just look different than if you were not in a saturated market. You might have to expand on the services that you do. You might have to meet with other therapists and see, what their experience is, see where the holes are, meet with if you work with children, you have to get meetings with schools, pediatricians. You have to do some community-based marketing, I think, as well as internet marketing, because you need to know the community. So if there's one thing I want you to take away from this live today, is that if you're in a saturated market, you need to really, really know your community and know what the needs are and decide how you can best meet them. I'm here most days to answer your questions. I'll see you soon, everybody. Bye.